Over this current console generation, we have seen a massive increase in the amount of free-to-play games entering the market. There are some huge games with some huge followings, but then there are some incredible flops that have decided to shut down just 2 weeks after launch. That is why today we'll be covering the 20 best free games on Xbox that you can play in 2025. My name is Fletcher, and this is Xbox Nation. Remember to subscribe down below for more Xbox content every single day, and without further ado, let's dive right into the games. I've been hooked on Marvel Rivals quite recently, and for very good reason. This fast-paced hero shooter throws Marvel's biggest icons into intense multiplayer combat, blending the best parts of Overwatch with a comic book style spectacle. The game lets you take control of legends like Iron Man, Spider-Man, Hulk, and Doctor Strange, each with unique abilities that can be combined for explosive results. The synergy system here adds an extra layer of depth though, allowing certain heroes to actually boost each other in some pretty creative ways. From Storm giving Thor extra health, to Spider-Man giving the ability to Squirrel Girl to launch a web bomb, there are just so many tons of team-up options available for you to choose from. With frequent updates, including the recent Fantastic Four expansion, there are tons of differences to shake up the meta every single season. If you love fast, strategic team shooters with ever-evolving gameplay, this is one you don't want to miss. If you're into looter shooters with high-speed action and deep RPG mechanics, the First Descendant will be a must-play for you. Built in Unreal Engine 5, this game doesn't just look incredible, it does feel incredible as well. Combat here is very smooth and weighty, movement is fluid thanks to grappling hooks and parkour mechanics, and the gunplay is some of the best in any free-to-play shooter right now. The game puts you in the shoes of a Descendant, essentially a superpowered warrior battling an alien invasion. Each character though has their own unique skills, from devastating melee attacks to pinpoint sniping abilities, really letting you shape your own playstyle just however you like. But what really sets the First Descendant apart though is the focus on teamwork. Whether you're fighting off massive bosses or strategizing with your squad in intense firefights, success depends on working together. Add in a pretty complex and deep loot system and constant content updates, and this is a huge major player in the free-to-play space, and I know it's loved by many to this day. It's very hard to talk about the best free games without mentioning Destiny 2. Bungie's long-running sci-fi shooter has only gotten better over time, and even without buying the expansions, there's tons of content for you to dive into. From its thrilling campaign introduction to large-scale open-world events, the game delivers some of the smoothest, most satisfying gameplay out there. Whether you're running strikes with your friends, grinding for legendary gear, or just jumping into competitive PvP in modes like Control and Elimination, there's always something for you to chase. The world of Destiny here is massive and just constantly evolving, with seasonal updates bringing in new weapons, missions, and also events to keep things very fresh. While hardcore players might eventually want to grab some expansions for the full experience, the free version alone offers more than enough to keep you hooked for multiple hours. If you love fast-paced shooting with RPG progression and deep lore, there's no better game to sink your time into. Valorant's long-awaited arrival onto Xbox has finally given console players a taste of Riot Games' ultra-competitive tactical shooter. This isn't your average run-and-gun FPS. Valorant actually demands precision, strategy, and patience. Every 5v5 match is a test of your skill, where headshots are pretty lethal, abilities need to be used at the perfect moment, and teamwork can make or break a round. Unlike hero shooters that emphasize flashy ultimate abilities, Valorant actually keeps the focus on gunplay, with its abilities serving as tactical tools rather than easy kills. Economy management adds another layer here, forcing players to spend their money wisely on new weapons and gear between different rounds. With Riot Games regularly updating the game with brand new maps, agents, and balance changes, the meta never stays still for too long. If you enjoy high-stakes shooters where every round matters and skill is the only thing that separates the good from the great, then Valorant is the ultimate test. The finals doesn't just change the rules of traditional FPS games, it throws them out of the window entirely. Developed by Embark Studios, this chaotic multiplayer shooter gives players the power to reshape the battle in real time. Walls, ceilings, and entire buildings can be blown apart, forcing you to constantly adapt to a destructible world where no cover is truly safe. Of course, matches revolve around a cash extraction mode, where teams must battle to secure and deposit money while also dealing with unpredictable chaos unfolding around them. The game's movement system here makes everything feel incredibly fluid, with grappling hooks, zip lines, and parkour mechanics allowing for quick repositioning and aggressive plays. It really is the kind of shooter where creativity is just as important as your accuracy. You're not just aiming for headshots, you're dropping walls on enemies and setting traps with environmental destruction. With its intense action, very unique mechanics, and ever-changing battlegrounds, The Finals is one of the most innovative free-to-play shooters available right now on Xbox consoles. Path of Exile is an action RPG that refuses to simplify its mechanics, making it one of the most rewarding free-to-play experiences here on Xbox. It takes inspiration from Diablo, but expands on the formula in almost every single way. The massive skill tree allows for seemingly endless build possibilities, letting players craft characters that suit their exact playstyle. Combat here is fast, brutal, and deeply satisfying, with hordes of enemies filling the screen as you chain together some devastating attacks. Unlike many free-to-play games out there, Path of Exile avoids pay-to-win elements, meaning success is entirely dependent on your own skill and knowledge. Seasonal updates include new mechanics and challenges, constantly shaking up the meta and keeping the experience very fresh. Whether you're diving into its dark, lore-rich world for the very first time, or just returning to experiment with a brand new build, Path of Exile remains one of the best ARPGs available today. Path of Exile 2 is also still in its early access period, so stay tuned as this next entry will be going free to play sometime this 2025. Genshin Impact is the kind of game that really pulls you in and refuses to let go. Its massive open world Teyvat is filled with tons of breathtaking environments, hidden puzzles, and challenging enemies, making exploration just as rewarding as the combat. The game's elemental-based battle system allows players to swap between characters on the fly, combining different abilities to create devastating attack chains. While the game follows a sort of gacha system for unlocking new characters, it still provides an enormous amount of content for free, from main story quests and side missions to boss fights and seasonal events. Every update expands this world though, introducing brand new regions, mechanics, and heroes that make the experience feel constantly fresh. Genshin Impact really does deliver an open world experience unlike anything else in the free-to-play space, and if you want to check out my review of this one, then click the card on screen now. Overwatch 2 takes the core of what made the original game so great and refines it into a more fast-paced and tactical experience. Don't get me wrong, the game is not as beloved as the first entry by any means, and that is for very good reasons that I won't dive into today. But with the Blizzard team working overtime and with constant competition for Marvel rivals, it seems that they're going in the right direction with the huge new update coming soon. The shift from 6v6 to 5v5 made every single play feel more impactful, but they are actually reverting to 6v6 in a new update coming soon. Every hero here has a very distinct role, and teamwork is more important than ever before. Whether you're flanking as a DPS, holding the line as a tank, or just keeping teammates alive as a support. Matches here are filled with fast, high-energy battles that reward smart positioning and well-timed ability usage. Of course, the seasonal updates introduce new heroes, maps, and limited time events, ensuring the game remains fresh and engaging to this day. For you players out there who enjoy more competitive team-based gameplay with a mix of that sort of strategy and skill, then Overwatch 2 is still one of the best free-to-play shooters here on Xbox. Halo Infinite's multiplayer is a perfect blend of old-school arena combat and modern FPS mechanics, making it one of the best free-to-play shooters available today. Many have disregarded Infinite since its launch due to the poor updates. However, the team at the newly found Halo Studios have massively turned this game around, and the addition of Forge, new game modes and weapons, and so much more have made this game just so incredible. The gunplay is as smooth and satisfying as ever, with precise aiming, fluid movement, and well-balanced weapons to make every firefight feel impactful. The game features a variety of modes though, from small-scale 4v4 Slayer matches to massive battles of Big Team Battle, where vehicles and sandbox elements come into play. As mentioned, the additional Forge mode also allowed players to create their own custom maps and game types, further extending its replayability, and to be honest, it's just so fantastic. For those of you who enjoy games that encourage creativity and storytelling, The Sims 4 remains one of the most unique and engaging free-to-play experiences here on Xbox. The Sims 4 isn't a game with a defined objective. Instead, it's a sandbox where players can create, experiment, and just tell their own stories. The base game, which is now completely free to play, offers a deep life simulation where every decision shapes the lives of your Sims. Whether you're designing a dream home, crafting some intricate social dynamics, or just setting up bizarre and chaotic scenarios just for fun, the possibilities here are honestly endless. The customization options also allow for an incredible amount of creativity, from character creation to home building. While expansion packs add even more content for you to explore, the core experience is already packed with enough depth to keep players entertained for multiple hours. Now, few MMOs offer the scale and immersion that Throne and Liberty brings to the table. Its world isn't just massive, it's alive, with dynamic weather and a time of day system that affects everything from combat strategies to the way that enemies actually behave. Instead of being tied down to a single class here, players can actually freely switch weapons, allowing for a flexible playstyle that adapts to every situation. Whether you prefer to explore solo, tackle massive dungeons, or just engage in epic PvP battles where thousands of players fight for dominance, there really is always something happening here. One of the game's most unique mechanics though is the ability to transform into animals or mythical creatures, which really opens up new ways to explore the world and gain an advantage in battle. With multiple castle sieges, world bosses, and a player-driven economy, Throne and Liberty feels like a living, breathing world where every player's actions can shape the overall experience. At this point, Fortnite isn't just a game, it's a global phenomenon. What started as a simple battle royale game has evolved into an ever-changing sandbox packed with new weapons, game modes, and massive live events that keep players coming back for more. The introduction of Zero Build Mode brought in a fresh wave of players who prefer gunfights over Fortnite's signature construction mechanics, while the creative mode also allowed for endless possibilities, letting players design their own maps and game types. With the addition of things like Lego and also multiple different racing games, there's just so many possibilities within Fortnite these days, and it's so hard for me to keep up with it. Beyond gameplay though, Fortnite has become a pop culture hub, featuring multiple crossovers with the likes of Marvel, Star Wars, anime, and even the likes of Halo. Whether you're playing solo, teaming up with friends, or just competing in high stakes tournaments, the game is constantly evolving to this day. No other free-to-game really reinvents itself as often or as successfully as Fortnite does to this day. Battle Royale fans looking for fast, high-intensity action will feel right at home in Call of Duty Warzone. It takes everything from the mainline Call of Duty series and makes it so great with its crisp gunplay, responsive movement, and smooth mechanics, and it drops players into a massive map where survival is the only goal. Now, I do have to address the elephant in the room and make you aware that Call of Duty is having a bit of a downturn at the moment, especially as the cheating problem is so wide scale right now and causing many issues for a lot of players. However, beyond this, Warzone still really is the king of modern military FPS shooters, and that's down to the signature Call of Duty weapon handling and its movement. With the frequent seasonal updates, new maps, and fresh weapons, it really ensures the gameplay never gets stale, making Warzone one of the best free-to-play shooters out there. With Verdansk returning, it will be the best time to relive those glory moments of Season 1, or just experience it for the very first time if you never got to go dive into it during the COVID season. It's football, but rocket-powered cars, and somehow that combination turned into one of the most beloved competitive games of all time. Rocket League's beauty lies within its simplicity. Anyone can jump in, boost towards the ball, and try to score a goal. But beneath the easy-to-learn mechanics actually lies an incredibly deep skill ceiling, where mastering aerial shots, wall plays, and precise dribbling can take hundreds or even thousands of hours. Every match here is packed with high-speed chaos, where last-second saves and insane trick shots create moments that feel straight out of a highlight reel. Whether you're playing casually with your friends, climbing that incredible rank ladder, or just experimenting with the unique game modes like Hoops and Rumble, Rocket League offers endless replayability. Also, with a thriving esports scene, constant updates and new cosmetic items, it continues to be one of the most exciting multiplayer games here on Xbox. For all of you sports fans looking for a realistic, no-cost alternative to traditional football simulation games, you should have had Maximum Football on your radar. Unlike annual sports-driven titles that require a new purchase every year, this free-to-play game offers a physics-driven, fully customizable experience that actually lets you take control of both college and professional-style teams. Every match here feels dynamic thanks to its realistic tackling mechanics, fluid player movement, and deep playbook options. Whether you're looking to build a team from scratch, strategize your way to victory, or just jump into competitive action, Maximum Football really does have something for everyone. With future updates promising additional leagues, career modes, and online multiplayer, this game is shaping up to be the go-to football experience for players who want authenticity without that price tag. Mech combat games don't come around too often, but War Robots Frontiers delivers an experience that feels both fresh and massive in scale. Unlike its mobile predecessor, this version is actually built for the next-gen hardware, featuring destructible environments, detailed mech customization, and large-scale battles that feel truly cinematic. The ability to tailor your robot's loadout, choosing between devastating missile barrages, railguns, or close-range flamethrowers, adds a strategic layer to the action. Maps here aren't just flat backgrounds either, they're designed with verticality in mind, meaning skilled pilots can actually use the environment to flank enemies or escape some tricky situations. But teamwork is everything here. Whether you're defending a key point or launching a coordinated attack, success depends on outmaneuvering and outthinking your opponents. War Robots, though, is a perfect pick for anyone looking for a fresh alternative to traditional shooters, and it's great to see this new addition to the Xbox library this year. Not all Battle Royale games follow the same formula, and Off the Grid takes the genre in a bold new direction. Set in a dystopian cyberpunk world, this shooter introduces a blend of high-stakes PvP combat and dynamic story-driven missions that actually involve in real time. Instead of simply dropping into the map and fighting to survive, players will take on missions from powerful mega corporations, hacking systems, and infiltrating enemy zones, whilst engaging in faction-based conflicts that shape the game's ever-evolving world. Combat mode isn't just about firepower, it's about tactics, positioning, and adapting to ever-changing objectives. With tons of deep weapon customization, vertical combat, and a fresh take on storytelling within multiplayer matches, Off the Grid is certainly shaping up the Battle Royale scene in a few ways that games have ever attempted, and to be honest, I'm all for these brand new experiences. The world of free-to-play football games has been dominated by pay-to-win mechanics for way too long now, but UFL is here to change that and has done so with a pretty good reception. Designed as a fair and skill-based alternative to traditional football games, it puts the focus on player ability, smart team building, and tactical gameplay, rather than expensive in-game purchases. With official club partnerships and real-time player likenesses, UFL brings the authenticity fans expect, but without the usual microtransaction-heavy systems. The gameplay itself, though, is very fluid and realistic, with very responsive controls, lifelike animations, and deep strategic elements that really do reward your smart play rather than luck-based mechanics. A ranked mode, live seasonal updates, and ever-evolving competitive structure make it such an exciting option for players who want a serious, high-quality football game, and that's without spending a dime. It does have quite a grind, especially if you want the best players, but the fun gameplay doesn't make it feel like a drag, so it's just well worth diving into. There's very little free-to-play shooters out there that capture the intensity of large-scale warfare like Enlisted. This World War II based squad shooter doesn't just throw players into battle as lone soldiers, it instead puts you in control of an entire squad, allowing for real-time strategy and squad-based tactics. I absolutely loved the gameplay in this one, and I was hooked for a good couple of months when it first came to the Xbox Series consoles. Instead of simply respawning, players can actually switch between AI-controlled teammates, ensuring that battles remain fast-paced and immersive. The maps here are massive and historically inspired, featuring infantry combat, tank warfare, artillery strikes, and even aircraft dogfights. Every faction, though, has its unique weapons, vehicles, and tactics, making every campaign feel different from the last. With constant updates adding in brand new maps, units, and balance tweaks, Enlisted remains one of the most expansive and engaging free-to-play shooters here on Xbox. Then finally, for players looking for a MOBA but with a fresh perspective, Predecessor offers the perfect blend of fast-paced combat and deep strategic gameplay. Inspired by the legacy of Paragon, built with love by the community, and powered by Unreal Engine 5, Predecessor is the ultimate fusion of shooter action and MOBA strategy. Unlike traditional MOBAs out there that use a top-down perspective, this game actually shifts the action to third person, making every fight feel more immersive and action-packed. The roster of unique heroes, each with specialized abilities and playstyles, allows for a diverse range of team compositions and strategies for you to expect. The action RPG style mechanics combined with that team-based structure of MOBA create a very unique hybrid experience that feels both fresh and familiar. Predecessor is the revived successor of a once great game known as Paragon, and thanks to a passionate community of players, Predecessor is actually a really well-made and well worth playing game here on Xbox. So, what is your favourite free-to-play game on Xbox? Let me know down below. Remember to smash that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more Xbox content like this every single day. Whilst here, why don't you check out one of my most recent videos, as I covered the 20 best Xbox Game Pass games you must play in March 2025.